A warning for all cell phone users. Well, I guess that's all of us. Radio frequency radiation emitted by cell phones can cause cancer, according to a new federal study just released. Joining us now on the phone, oncologist in the Yale School of Medicine and professor, Dr. Vincent DeVita is here, as well as family doctor, Dr. Jeanette Nesheiwat. All right, so first, can you just tell me, this is possibly the first proof of many of our fears that having that cell phone up to our head all day, or if you do that, that it's bad. What are we learning from this?
Sandra, can you imagine a world without cell phones? We all live off of our cell phones. We work. It's such an important tool in our lives. In my opinion, there is not enough evidence to show hardcore data that cell phone use can cause cancer.
Okay, but
the type of radio frequency energy that's used for cell phone is like your microwave. It's like the light that we see. It's not enough to break down the chemical DNA to cause cancer.
Okay, so Dr. DeVita, what is your takeaway from this study? Because this was performed on rats, and there are findings that are causing concern. What do you make of it?
Well, I don't think the evidence is sufficient to cause any concern, really. I mean, it's mostly based on the assumption that radio frequency waves can cause some damage, but the damage is mostly heat. It's not like ionizing radiation. And if you look at all the studies that have been done in the world, there's just no definitive evidence that it causes brain tumors, which is the main concern.
So I guess
there's been no increase. If you look at all the data in our SEER database, we have a large database that the National Cancer Institute follows, a surveillance, epidemiology, and result database. Since 1992, there's just been no incidence increase in brain tumors that can be attributed to cell phones during that time.
But Dr. Nesheiwat, the concern was always we don't have a period of time long enough to really make any conclusion.
I think we do. Cell phones have been around for 25, 30 years. Okay. This is not like when you go and get an X-ray or UV light exposure in a tanning bed. It's low-frequency radio frequency waves. And in my opinion, moderation is the key. Don't be on your phone all day long. Smoking, eating French fries is more dangerous than cell phone use.
Can I ask Dr. DeVita? But Dr. DeVita, I just, even from a personal perspective, I had a very close family member who died of a grade 4 glioblastoma 5 months from diagnosis to death, and there's certainly more instances that you hear about anecdotally, even very famous people, like Senator Ted Kennedy, for example. So there has been no increase in these tumors at all. So what causes them then?
No, there's none. And you know, I mean, we have something like 12,000 cases a year in this country of glioblastoma. So people know people who get it. And since everybody uses a cell phone, you know, the assumption is, well, it must be the cell phone. But there's been no increase. You know, there was a study years ago, there was a thought to be an increase from exposure to petrochemicals. And when they looked at it, it really was an example of the use of new diagnostic techniques as opposed to causation effects. So I think you can't make the assumption that, I have no idea how often Ted Kennedy used his cell phone, but I doubt that had anything to do with it.
So, Dr. Nesheiwat, I know that another area of concern here is pregnant women are always really concerned because where do a lot of us wear our cell phones? On our hip. Is there any increased concern there?
You know, there's more of a concern for pregnant women who smoke and drink alcohol, who aren't taking their prenatal vitamins. Again, the evidence is it shows it's insufficient. There's not enough evidence to show that there's a direct correlation between cancer-causing tumors and cell phone use. So,
okay.
Moderation.